Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're gonna talk about very important verse. This verse speaks about if you need protection, you see that someone is following you, someone wants to harm you, you are walking in the street in the middle of the night, and someone is following you. This verse that I'm going to tell you about, it's mentioned in the Quran. And I guarantee you, as Allah always promised, إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ, when he says something, indeed it happens. So this verse is in Surah Ya-Sin, and there is a story behind of it. So it's called وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يَبْصِرُونَ, meaning that the barrier they cannot see, a reflection on denial divine protection and the veil over the hearts. So in the beginning, here is the verse recited by the Prophet, peace be upon him, as he stepped unseen through those who meant him harm. As he was in Quraysh, in Mecca, and he wanted to emigrate, and the people promised by Abu Lahab, sorry, that he wants to harm him. So he said this verse that there be a blind and they cannot see me when I seek protection, when I say this verse. So here, as we can see in the plain words, and we have placed before them a barrier and behind them a barrier, and we have covered them so they do not see. So وَجَعَلْنَا مِن بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يَبْصِرُونَ. So that's why this verse is very important for the four phrases one image ومن خلف وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. This verse is very important, as for 13 years in Mecca, the Prophet, peace be upon him, called his people to worship one God alone. Some believed, many mocked, a few, like Abu Jahl, grew determined to silence him by force, as like by killing him. The night they gathered, on the night the Prophet was to leave Mecca, men from every clan surrounded his house, blades ready, so that no single tribe would bear the blood price alone. Inside Ali ibn Abi Talib lay down in his place, replacement of Prophet Muhammad. So, what happened next between the two walls? The Prophet, peace be upon him, stepped outside with a handful of dust, reciting the opening of Surah Yasin. He scattered it over their heads as he passed, and not one of them saw him. By dawn, they were still waiting at an empty door. Recorded in the Surah tradition, Ibn Shaq, cited by Ibn Kathir and Al-Qurtubi in their commentary on this verse. So the two ways to read one verse that night, taken little the very exactly, is exactly what it sounds like. Quraysh stood before the Prophet and could not see him as specific physical protection on a specific night. Every age commentators such as Muhajid and Qadah read it more broadly to a barrier, arrogance, stubborn denial that can seal any heart against guidance front and back with no way forward and no way to return. So the truth, blindness, not forced. Classical exegetes are carefully here. This covering follows persistence, kufr and takabbur, denial and arrogance, not an arbitrary sentence. It is the outcome of heart that keeps refusing what has already been shown. So in Surah Yunus, indeed, those against whom the word of your Lord has come into effect and will not believe, even if every sign should come to them, until they see the painful punishment. So the reflections of this story is divine protection can surround the sincere, seen or unseen. A hardened heart can build its own barrier long before any other appears. Denial is rarely sudden, it is usually the sum of many small refusals. The door of guidance and mercy that stays open to anyone who turns back. That's why we say from the Surah Yasin, ayah, verse 9, a barrier can rise or a heart can stay open. May we choose to keep seeing. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. Thank you so much.